Good morning. Welcome to this webinar, Be the Change You Want to See. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. There's no doubt that clients just don't want compliance services. Why? The vast majority of SMEs need additional financial management guidance to survive. They want clarity, direction, and confidence. They want an accountancy firm to genuinely recognise that they are the key strategic partner. How many of your clients would agree to this description of your services? Our accountant is a key partner in our business and our go-to professional for advice. They are extremely valuable to our business growth and success. If your assessment is that a large number of your clients would identify your firm as supplying a key strategic partner service, congratulations. But unfortunately, you will be a minority in the Australian accounting industry. Why? Because according to Intuit QuickBooks SMB Navigator Report 2025, released in September, only 15% of the 500 small businesses that they interviewed recognise that their accountants are providing a key strategic partner service. 75 out of 500 gave that recognition. I think this figure should concern and motivate all accounting and advisory firms. At ESS BIZTOOLS, we are committed to providing our members access to a wide range of financial, commercial, management accounting, advisory services. So to help your clients over the balance of 2026, because 1 month has already gone, to achieve this rating of being the key strategic partner for your clients. Wouldn't that be a great achievement? And it will also directly affect your firm's ability to attract energetic, emerging clients to your firm. So we've joined with our affiliate TaxFitness to launch a specific program to assist accounting and bookkeeping firms to have access to a wide range of advisory services to assist you to deliver this outstanding range of services, which will assist your clients and prospects to survive in their businesses. TaxFitness has produced the benchmarking against the top 20% as the key methodology to be implemented to achieve benchmarking reports that can be immediately implemented in conversations with your clients. So most accountants know that compliance is being commoditized. Software is doing more of the work. Where's the profession heading? For your SMEs and for yourselves, margins are tightening. Clients are asking better questions, and that's great. And at ESS BIZTOOLS, we've done our utmost to try to educate SMEs about the services that accountants can provide, that you can do a lot more than just taxation work. So this is a real opportunity for you to deliver advisory services. But advisory only works when it is based on an evidence, not an opinion. TaxFitness has developed a benchmarking service that benchmarks your clients against the top 20% businesses in an industry. Why? Because this is where real insight, better conversations, and real advisory fees come from. Why benchmarking matters now. Compliance is shrinking. Advisory needs substance. Benchmarking is the bridge. Automation is accelerating, not slowing. Clients expect insight, not just reports. They want to have discussions with you and know that you understand what all this material means. It's not just figures on a piece of paper. Advisory without data is just an opinion. Benchmarking gives accountants authority, confidence, and structure to talk to your clients and help them. If you want to move beyond compliance and hopefully you do, you need evidence. You need evidence of what all this means to your client. So it's not just another selling of another service. This is a very important role for you to play. It's about staying relevant, valuable as an accountant. Benchmarking gives you a factual starting point for advisory to make it mean something to your clients. Why TaxFitness benchmarks against the top 20%? Average benchmarking sets the bar too low. Your clients don't want to be just average. Traditional benchmarks compared to the middle of the market. And unfortunately, that also includes underperformers at the bottom, which is affecting the overall average. Benchmarking to the top 20% shows what the best looks like. It answers the real client question. How do the best businesses in my industry perform? And what do I need to be able to be in that group of people, that top 20%? Can you help me get there? What do I need to do? These are the questions your clients will ask you, because this is what happens in the big end of town. Most successful companies are continually comparing themselves to the best performers. So average explains performance. Top 20% drives improvement in what is happening in your clients' businesses. Our observation, no business owner wakes up wanting to be industry average today. Top 20% benchmarks create clarity, urgency, and opportunity. They set the targets. Your client's currently achieving a gross profit percentage of 38%, but you're telling them that the gross profit percentage in the top 20% is 47%, and that difference represents thousands of dollars. Most of it able to go through to bottom line profits. Some of it might have to pay bonuses because the team's achieved that top 20% result. But most of it will go to bottom line. This changes the tone of the client conversation immediately. You can help your client on this journey. Now, it won't happen overnight, but they'll have a new vision that's been created overnight with your encouragement. So top 20% benchmarking actually measures the numbers that really drive results. Has your client got enough customers? Do they need more? It's less noise, but more impact. Stronger results are going to emerge. So what's covered in the top 20% benchmarking? Well, we look at revenue, of course, cost of goods sold, subcontractors, rent, wages, overheads, owners' compensation, and make sure that's realistic. And then the overall net profit margin. How does your client measure up against the top 20%? Whether they're a boiler maker, or an electrician, a medical practitioner, a pharmacy, a corner store. What's the key outcomes? Identifies margin leakage. And that can be across a wide range of things. It might be through spoilage. It might be through theft. It might be through other areas that need tightening up. It quantifies the gap in dollars. The difference between 38% gross profit percentage and 47% gross profit percentage is a lot of money, 9%. So on turnovers of $1 million, $90,000 that could have been in the bottom line. Highlights the 1 to 3 biggest improvement levers. We're not going to go through every item and work out very small fractions. It's identifying the big items and let's get them fixed. And then next month or next quarter, we can redo the exercise and there might be some different components of those 1 to 3 improvement levers because we've fixed the big ones already. But there will be some others that emerge as to you help your client achieve that magical figure of being in the top 20%. So it's not about analysing everything. It's focusing on the few numbers that move profit, cash flow, and value of the business. And they're all interlinked. You can help them with the assistance of the TaxFitness top 20% benchmarking. Once gaps are shown in dollars, advisory becomes real. Your team will feel it as well as your client's team, because you're adding to the overall improvement in performance. Benchmarking is the start, not the finish. Just because we're doing benchmarking doesn't say that's the end of it. It gets your clients onto an exciting area. From benchmarking, we can go into real advisory. It's a system, not a one-off report. It identifies and quantifies gaps, translate gaps into dollars, impact, and prioritize strategies. Implement, review, and hold clients accountable. You can do that because you've agreed you're going to move from a 37% gross profit percentage to a 48%. Benchmarking turns numbers into conversations, convergence into strategy, strategy into recurring advisory fees. The report is not the product, the process is, because you've worked with your client. You've shown them what these figures mean. You've made real input. And your clients will define this as being real accounting services, definitely beyond what most firms deliver under as compliance. This creates an ethical, defensible advisory model, because you will be saying to your clients that there's fees for this and they will happily pay it. So that's the TaxFitness input that we have for this particular series that we've launched, which is going to go over the next 5 months through to the 30th of June. So every fortnight we're going to present to you a TaxFitness story, a component of their package offering that complements the services that are presented by ESS BIZTOOLS. And as part of this package, we're now going to move into an insight into the ESS BIZTOOLS starter package, which equips your firm as a strategic advisor. It starts with the monthly Business Plus newsletter. Why? Because we write the newsletter each month. There's about 6 stories. We write that over the whole spectrum of small businesses, from people thinking about a small business, from people planning to buy a small business. What's their situation after 6 months to 12 months? A very dangerous area, that is. Because some of them, if they've done it themselves, have not done their cash flows right. They assume suppliers would automatically give them 30-day terms, and they don't. Or they've assumed that people that they give credit to will pay them very strictly on a 30 days basis. Unfortunately, they don't. So their cash flow can be in a bit of a mess after 6 months trading. And then they've probably got problems with the tax office because they haven't paid the tax that they've deducted from employees, the BAS, or the other things, GST. Services that help your clients survive in the business jungle is what the Business Plus newsletter is helping you. And then we move into starting a business. Too many people start without undertaking any appropriate due diligence. Now, we all know that as accountants, but we have found that if with our clients who are effective communicators, our accounting firm clients, of course, effective communicators and talking about these issues, you will attract people before they've signed contracts, before they've handed in their resignation and their current employment. And why do so many SMEs not get advice? When I talk to SMEs and ask them why they didn't get advice, I reckon 80% would say, well, we didn't think accountants could give that sort of advice, Peter. We thought you only did tax returns. Well, they only do tax returns. So a key component of all this is getting the reputation in the marketplace. Don't underestimate that. We know clients talk at the golf club, in the pub, after church, wherever. They talk. And your firm will get a reputation of being proactive in the supply of advisory services if you incorporate the TaxFitness approaches, in benchmarking and the ESS BIZTOOLS overall systems relative to assisting you to introduce advisory services to your clients. So the starter package contains a wide range of resources. I probably mentioned some of these already, but it's important that you stress to your clients or would-be clients in your general communications that it's important to make contact with key suppliers for the business, or you anticipate they'll be key suppliers, before just going in and placing an order. Because what happens is that, unfortunately, a lot of suppliers have been caught with people that weren't able to pay their bills. So they've imposed strict terms on new accounts. They might say, well, you've got to pay us cash for the first 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, and we'll see how you go. Now, if your new client has gone off and done their own cash flow forecasts, or just assumed that they'd be automatically given a 30-day credit account and think to themselves they might be able to fudge that for another week or so, they've got a real shock. They're ready to start. They place their order with their supplier and they say, we want cash with order, please. And this can affect the cash flow further down because they're having to pay for these supplies up front. And businesses do not have to offer credit. MYOB conducted a major survey, and the managing director of MYOB wrote an article which the Financial Review published nearly 2 years ago, in which they identified that people in their first year of business had made significant mistakes. And one of them was an assumption that if anyone asked them for credit, legally they had to give them credit. So they took no steps to check who this new credit account person was, what was their track history. And if they'd done that, they may have found that they were an habitual late payer, or perhaps didn't even make all their payments. They inherited someone else's problem, whereas a proper debtors management system that you should have been able to implement for them would have identified these potential problems for them. Because one of the problems of many people starting businesses is that they've come out of government organisations or big business where they've worked in their pigeonhole type work activities, but never seen the big picture. They've never had to do it all. Running a small business, there's at least 40 jobs, 40 classifications, that if they were bigger, they'd probably have nearly 40 people working for each of those specialities. But when they're running their own business, they have to do all this work themselves, or their spouse, or one of their children. But a lot of people are just not prepared for it. And this is why it's important that we try to communicate with them before they sign contracts to buy a business, by offering proactive services, and your firm has the reputation. So you can use the marketing tools that we include in ESS BIZTOOLS for our subscribers to use. You can put those on your website so that people, when they go and have a look at the services you provide, realise that you're a proactive firm, that you will help them before they sign the contract, before they resign from their paid employment. And this will encourage people to come and talk to you, to seek your advice before they've signed that contract. And you will gain that reputation of being a firm that cares, a firm that can really help them to get underway in this overall process. Research and development introduction. I find a lot of accounting firms shy away from this very important area. But do you know that in 2022-23, over 7,000 small business companies, these were companies with turnovers under $10 million, participated in the government's research and development tax offset scheme? And we haven't seen the figures yet for 23-24, but it's great the tax office is now releasing these. 46% of the participants in the research and development tax offset scheme were SME companies. Yet I continually hear from accountants that they don't understand research and development. but they're not a scientist or an engineer. And I say, why you got to be a scientist and an engineer? Well, to do the experiments. You don't have to do the experiments. And we take you through all this in ESS BIZTOOLS, because in our introduction package, we've prepared a step-by-step process that we illustrate to you in forms, in spreadsheets and graphs, so you can understand the entire process, and in papers, articles we've written. In fact, there's 13 papers in the overall system on research and development, but instead of making it a 300 or 400 page exercise, we've made it in 20 to 40 pages so that your client can work with you and understand the processes. Because this can be the start of an innovation journey for a client that can go into a whole range of other activities, which I will share with you in the next presentation of this series, which we're presenting with TaxFitness from here to the end of June, every fortnight. Debtors management, another major area that the MYOB report that I referred to earlier identified. Many people commence a small business without any idea of the implementations of an effective credit system. And I've come across people that when I do the calculation as to what their debtors days outstanding is, and what's led to this is me talking about debtors days outstanding in a director's management overview that I was presenting on behalf of Oz Industry to groups of business people, and mention that directors should be aware of the debtors days outstanding. And a lady put up a hand and said, "Excuse me, can you tell me how we calculate debtors days outstanding?" I said, "Do you know?" She said, "No." I said, "Has anyone told you what your debtors days outstanding are?" She said, "No, but I'd like to know." So we had a discussion, and I did a calculation when she gave me her figures. 108 days, debtors days outstanding. I said, who owns this business? And she said, "My father." I said, "Does he ever get cranky?" "Yes, when the bank manager rings." I said, "I can see why. Your debtors days outstanding is too high. Hasn't your accountant talked to you about this?" "No, he only does the tax return." So this is one of the problems. Businesses are getting themselves into difficulties because they're not getting the guidance. Trades charge-out rate calculator. Most accounting firms have got tradies as clients. There's thousands of tradies. There's about 200 different classifications of tradies. How do they charge out their hourly rates? They've got apprentices, they've got qualified tradesmen, they've got labourers, they've got a group of people working for them. How do they go about charging? Or do they just guess a figure? Or do they listen to hear what their competitors are charging? Or what their previous boss charged out, but they left him 5 years ago. So have they got any idea what's happened to charge out rates since? We've developed a calculator, the ESS BIZTOOLS Trades Charge Out Rate Calculator, which enables you to assemble the information with your client's assistance. Going through and relating it to the team. What's the expected productivity percentage of each of the team classifications? Those various ones I gave you, the apprentice, the tradies, the leading hands, the foreman, the labourers, they'll all be different. What are they? What's their payments? They'll be different too. What's the expected overheads for the business? What's the targeted profit? And our system will then give you suggested charge-out rates and a proof sheet, which says that if you achieve the productivity percentage that you've told us you expect your team to achieve, these are the overhead expenses that you expect. This is the wages and salaries, etc. This will be your bottom line profitability, which will be very close to what the original targeted figures. There's just some round-offs go on in the calculator. And then what you can say to your client is, now we should monitor this for you each month. So we'll have a look at your actual productivity. So if we find that you had assumed that a tradie would achieve an 85% productivity percentage, and it's only coming in at 78%, and we then sit down with you and analyse it and look at it, and you say, well, yeah, okay, 78% more realistic figure. We can immediately redo the figures, and only takes a few minutes really, and your client's got new charge out rates that they can start implementing from today. A bit late for jobs they've already quoted on. They've got to live with that. But it allows your clients to be seeing the benefit. And you can help your clients. One of our subscribers started off with 10 tradie businesses, he told me, and he came to us to get access to this charge out rate calculator. He's now got 120, and he's tradies, and he's charging around $10,000 to $12,000 per firm for the annual service, not just the charge out rate calculator, but that's the attraction. That's what gets the clients to come to him. But he's then offering this month by month service to monitor what's going on. This is real services to help clients achieve their targets, and it will also help you because of those professional fees that you will earn. So today was about understanding what benchmarking presented by TaxFitness really is. In the next fortnightly session, we will discuss how accountants can implement the top 20% benchmarking as a structured, repeatable advisory service, confidently and profitably. I've also given you an overview of the ESS BIZTOOLS starter package because it gives you the resources to offer sound financial, commercial and management accounting advisory services to your clients to ensure that their business is set up for success. These initiatives will definitely contribute to your clients identifying that your firm supplies them with a key strategic partner service. TaxFitness and ESS BIZTOOLS are offering you a great opportunity to achieve the key strategic partner endorsement by your clients. You don't want to be one of the firms that is achieving the 85% rating of not being a key strategic partner, do you? You want to be in that 15% and have it grow to its 80 to 85% of the responses from SMEs. That's what the target should be. So the TaxFitness subscription for 12 months is normally $1,200 plus GST. As part of this package, that's been reduced to $1,000 plus GST as long as you enter ESS 100 when registering for this special offer. And the TaxFitness subscription and the deal that we've done with TaxFitness will entitle your firm to 12 months access to the ESS BIZTOOLS starter package for no additional payment. So you pay $1,000 plus GST, so $1,100, and you've got access to TaxFitness and the ESS BIZTOOLS starter package for 12 months. To register, please go to www.essbiztools.com.au, click on affiliate packages, click on TaxFitness, click on subscribe to TaxFitness. Enter your details and make the payment on your credit card. After you've completed the subscription with TaxFitness, you will receive confirmation of your 12 months complimentary access to the ESS BIZTOOLS starter package. So you'll be hearing from our organisation as well. If you've got any questions that I've not answered in this webinar or anything else you want to know about TaxFitness or ESS BIZTOOLS, please send us an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au, or you can telephone me on 0418 190 181. We are looking forward to helping your accounting or bookkeeping firm to achieve this very important status as being the strategic advisor to your clients. Have a great day. Goodbye. I look forward to hearing from you. We also have a podcast on Thursday 12th of February at 11 a.m. AEST. If you'd like to attend live, you can register on the ESS BIZTOOLS website under the heading on the homepage, webinars and podcasts. Go there, register, and join Darren Gleeson, Managing Director of TaxFitness, and myself for a discussion. If you've got any specific questions you want to make sure we do consider, why not send us an email first with the question for the podcast? peter@essbiztools.com.au. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. Goodbye.